What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode with the Donis brothers. But actually, as you guys can see, it's only two of us. So my name is Kenneth Donis, and this is...
I am Kerwin Donis.
Yes, and thank you for tuning in today. So what are we going to be talking about today, Kerwin?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to make some chit chat. See, you're not going to ask me how I'm doing.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm
man?
good.
Yeah, you feeling good?
Well, yeah, it's going well.
Yeah,
Today
I feel great, man.
Well, I wasn't going to ask
you. You didn't ask me how I'm doing.
Today we're talking about things that are holding you back from succeeding and from success, particularly in real estate. But honestly, this applies to any of you that are being entrepreneurs or even in your life.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
We've read a lot of books and met a lot of successful people, and they have some great advice to give us about success and just pursuing excellence. And we want to share that with you guys today.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
And I will say, once you start getting around these people that are very successful, honestly, success is not really a secret, but there's a lot of commonalities between successful people that are very, like I said, commonalities. So a lot of things that they do.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about that today.
Exactly. So starting off, we wanted to touch on limiting beliefs because we still struggle with them today, but there's a lot of limiting beliefs that you might not even be aware you have, and we can relate to that. So starting out for us, some limiting beliefs we had was that we were too young to get into real estate. We didn't have enough time because we were in college, and it was hard to balance real estate, like starting a real estate business and doing well in school. And we also just thought we didn't have enough experience or knowledge to get started.
Or enough money.
Yeah, well, I said that. But what do you think? Do you agree with that? What was your experience with those limiting beliefs?
Yeah, I think at the beginning, that's kind of what we thought until we started seeing a lot of people that were kind of looked like us, and they were, they were successful at real estate, and they didn't have any of those things either. But
like, it's normal to have those beliefs is my point, and in fact, it took us a long time to actually break those limiting beliefs, because at the end of the day, we took action even with them there. Like, I think that's the point, is you're going to have a lot of limiting beliefs. You might think you're just not good enough, you're not smart enough, that might be the case, or you're not confident enough. It's so many different things that you might think, and just recently, we can share like a recent limiting belief we had. We thought that we couldn't take on big multifamily deals on our own, or not on our own, but just we couldn't do it ourselves. Yeah. And that was a limiting belief. And for so long, we literally we were convinced that was a fact. We had no idea that, it was just a limiting belief. So a lot of times these beliefs think of them as like barriers that are keeping you from pursuing your goals, but you can't see through the wall. And so literally it's just not an option. It's not an option because you're not opening yourself up to that. So that's why you probably have limiting beliefs, is because you don't know anyone that's done it and you've never done something. And that's probably why, it's like what they call the mile, you couldn't break the 5 minute mile, 4 minute mile until somebody did. But before then, everyone
said it was humanly impossible and that your heart would explode. And then I forgot the name of the guy, but basically he did it. And after literally the week that he did it, so many people started doing it because they then saw that it was actually possible.
Exactly. So that's why I think it's so important. And another reason, we'll get into how to overcome limiting beliefs, but another reason you might have limiting beliefs is because people impose their own limiting beliefs onto you. And that's something that we became aware of early in our real estate journey, when we started asking random people for advice, and they would say, oh, you can't do that, you're too young. Like, they would tell us these kind of things, and I would take it as, oh, they're smarter, they're older, they're wiser than me, so they're probably right. But in reality, it was a reflection of what they thought about themselves and their own limiting beliefs, like what they think they can't do, or they couldn't have done at my age, or in my place, or even on their own place right there. They think they can't do it, and therefore you can't do it either. And they're not going to tell you that. It's just they're like projecting their own limiting beliefs onto you. So now, of course, there are tons of limiting beliefs. You might have different ones in your own life. It just might manifest differently. And whether you're an older person in a corporate job looking to escape a corporate job and you don't know anyone that's in real estate, or you're just out of high school or college and you're looking to pursue real estate and you think, I don't have the money or the experience or the time, chances are you do have one of those things or more of those things, and you can do it. You just have to understand that it starts with the mindset switch, and that's why we're talking about this episode. So step one to overcome these limiting beliefs and start getting closer to pursuing the goals you're setting for yourself or you want to reach in real estate or entrepreneurship is education, I would say. So start exposing yourself to different platforms like books, audiobooks, podcasts, or even going to events or conferences and meeting these people in person or just listening to their stories. I think that was one of the biggest things that helped us break down our own limiting beliefs, was listening to the stories and hearing and meeting these people in person, that they were able to do it and they had even less resources than we did. And we came from a low income background, like we didn't have much. And so if they could do it, but these people went through even more. So if they were able to, get their first real estate deal and then grow it into a multi-million-dollar company and now they're killing it, if they can do it, then we can do it too. And they would also say that back to us. They say, you guys can do it too. It just starts in your head. And that's what we're telling you. We would love to be that person for you. Just you can do it too. You just have to really put yourself out there and educate, meet these people. It demystifies it for you and it makes it real.
Yeah, exactly. And with education, you then become more confident, and with confidence, you just feel better, right? So just educating yourself and just trying to learn, just like becoming a sponge and just soaking everything in.
Another reason you might not be reaching your goals in real estate or in entrepreneurship is that you aren't dedicated enough. And it takes a lot of self-awareness and honesty to come to that conclusion and determine you're kind of holding yourself back, because, back then, when we were in high school or college, and I had friends and I had clubs and I had to eat and I worked out and I also was in school, so I had homework and things like that and to study. I just didn't prioritize my business, and that's why I told myself I didn't have time. But that's not true. I didn't understand that I could make time for it. So I wasn't as dedicated as I should have been. And maybe, some people might be going out with their friends and that's fine. You can have a good time, but maybe that time might be better used building your business or learning about real estate, things like that. So really it's just how badly do you want it? How to become motivated? Surround yourself with people who motivate you. I think step one is, if you're not around people that are pushing you to be better, then that's, a great way to I believe you're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So if you're surrounded by 5 people who are lazy or not driven and motivated and maybe just aren't as focused on life, and that's okay. Not everybody has the same path or the plan, but if you want to pursue real estate or entrepreneurship and actually succeed, no matter where you are, no matter how old you are, or no matter at what point in your life you are, if you want to do that, then surround yourself with people that are either ahead of you or on that same path.
Yeah, I agree.
And we've done that. We've built our circle, a really small circle. We don't have like that big of a circle, but it's a small circle of people that are driven and dedicated, and that has helped us pursue our goals and stay on that path. And of course, we were fortunate enough to have a built-in team as brothers and a built-in circle, so we push each other. But without that circle, it's really hard to stay committed. And so I think surrounding yourself with those people is so important.
Yeah, and I mean, you can have one person in your life that kind of motivates you to get, just in better shape, and then another one that just motivates you to read more, and another one that, just motivates you. They might be in the same business as you, so just another one that, just motivates you to just continue going every day.
Yep.
But you should definitely evaluate the people that you surround yourself with, because if you only have friends that, just hit you up on the weekends and say, hey man, like, let's go out, let's go to the bar, let's go drinking, like, let's have a good night. Although, I mean, I've been there, obviously, I've had a lot of fun doing that. And I will admit it is a lot of fun, but then you wake up with a hangover the next morning, and it's obviously not good for your health, and it wastes a lot of time. So if you think about one person that's just focused and not drinking, not waking up with hangovers, they're going to smoke whoever is, waking up with hangovers and things like that. So if you really want to chase something, just trying to stay dedicated and just clear and focused.
Yeah, you're going to outperform the other people who aren't having those bad habits. And we'll talk about that later. But also listening to motivational speeches, that's something that I've done, but like motivational podcasts, speeches, books, things like that, words are powerful. They will motivate you and hype you up. And for me, it might even be like a good song that hypes you up. That's a good way to kind of just quickly in the moment motivate yourself. Also, another great idea would be to create a vision board for yourself and hang that up around somewhere you're working. So just what Jeffrey did, and he recently it was actually a year ago that he put like a canvas up, and he put a bunch of pictures and cut them out and pasted like pictures of things he wants, and some of them might be a little material, but a lot of it is like family, health wise, like just traveling, his why. So our mom, a picture of our mom, things like that really motivate you and things like that. And that will be a reminder and serve as something that can kind of anchor you and help you and just push you even when you maybe don't feel like putting in the work. Now, another factor that can absolutely, and we've touched on it, absolutely hinder your progress towards your goals and maybe holding you back from the success you want is a lack of education. And that's why we are always advocating for people to always be constantly listening to books and reading books and attending conferences, just investing in your own education. I will be honest, we're like, we didn't continue with college, but we're not against college or higher education. But I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong when people, they assume that college is enough and will educate you if you want to pursue certain paths. So like for real estate, investing, and entrepreneurship, chances are in business, college isn't going to be everything. Like, yeah, I can provide you some foundational elements and key information that maybe you can expand on. But even if you graduate or even during college, you should still be educating yourself outside of that. Like in real estate, you're not going to learn a lot about that in your classes, maybe some things, but you need to be more taking the initiative and learning on your own, and that will help you with your confidence. It'll also help you, if you're consuming this knowledge and really becoming the person that listens to real estate, at some point you're going to want to take action. And yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree for sure.
And so a lack of urgency is another factor that I would say is what definitely causes people to never really pursue goals. And that can kind of touch on the education thing. If you're educating, that's great. But the step 2 is take action, like actually implement that. And a sense of urgency will help you get there.
Yeah. And a lot of times you guys may have a really good idea. I know a lot of people that have really good ideas, but what they lack is the implementation of these ideas. The more time that you come up, like the more time that is spent in between the time that you come up with an idea and the time that you try to take action on the idea, the less likely that idea will come into fruition.
Yeah, 100%. Now I will say, that's kind of like the visionary again. He's a lot of ideas, and sometimes you have to put the brakes on them and say, hey, no, we can't. We have to focus on one thing. But yeah, absolutely. You should not just be sitting on an idea forever if you're not going to do anything with it. Like, there's just no point in having it. So definitely pursue it at some point. Pick a date that you're going to say, okay, I'm going to educate for 3 months. And then at the end of that 3-month mark, I'm going to take some form of action. There's so many different ways to do it. We've talked about it in previous episodes, but so many people just don't take action. And we've had friends that say, oh, I want to get into real estate. Like, can I ask you questions? And I'll get on a call with them. I'll answer their questions. And then they never take action. And just like, I'm happy to do it. I don't mind doing it, but it's just, I understand the power of certain things like real estate and investing in yourself and business and starting your own business. Not for everyone, but if you actually are committed to do it, then actually be willing to put in the work. I read a book, I can't remember what the author's name is, but he talks about how a lot of people will lie to themselves and tell themselves they want the goal, they want to reach their goal, but they know what it takes to get there, but they're not willing to put in the work. And then they're unhappy in the moment because they don't have those goals. When in reality, if they were just honest with themselves and told themselves like, no, I am not willing to do what it takes to get there, you can have a sense of peace and comfort knowing, okay, I am not willing to do what it takes to get there. And that's okay. But there's like which wasted energy when you feel guilty and like beat yourself up over it or tell other people that you want to do it when you really don't. Another thing, if you might be comfortable right now where you are. So you might like the lifestyle you have, you might like your habits, you might like having fun right now, and that's okay. But then you can't really be serious about actually wanting to pursue the goals you want if you're not willing to put in the work. So if you're comfortable now, that might be a reason why you don't have you have a lack of urgency there.
Yeah. And I would say, I mean, I think it's great to be comfortable, but I don't know if you really grow when well, honestly, you don't grow when you're comfortable. So that means every day you're getting older. And if you're not growing, then you're just honestly, like, just if we're being honest, you're dying because you're getting older every single day. So just stepping out of your comfort zone is, I think, a great way to just learn more, become, I guess, more confident about yourself and things. And that will help you with the lack of urgency.
Yeah. And so I have a lot of friends and that are around our age, people in general, typically the younger people, they'll say, oh, I have time, I can keep pushing it off. And that's a sense of comfort there too, because they think they have time on their side, but no time is guaranteed, first off. Second off, you don't have to necessarily go out there and start a business. Like, that's what we did, but you don't have to do that. I think just developing a skill that will help you get to your goals at some point, but being more intentional with it. It's not just going to happen on its own. Right now, especially if you're younger, you have the time, develop a skill that will help you get to that goal. And that's something you can do very easily, whether it's just on the side every day, taking the time to practice. Let's say you want to work on your sales skills. Just start, cold calling people, or get a part-time sales job, or start reading sales books, things like that. They're actually going to develop your skills now, so that in the future, when you are at a point where you want to pursue that goal, you can actually do it with some skills behind you. And discipline is another thing that is so important, and it actually might be holding you back from pursuing a success and reaching that goal that you have set for yourself in business, entrepreneurship, or real estate. Discipline has helped us. We have really, I would say we have strong habits, and we're still developing them and obviously growing them every day. But starting out in the morning, we wake up at 5, and then we meditate, do yoga. We go to the gym every day around the same time. And then we come back, shower, we have breakfast, we write in our journal, and then we have a meeting and start our day at 9. And that's every single day. That's our morning ritual. What was that? The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Is that the book?
Yeah. Yeah.
Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. That's a really great book, and it talks about the importance of habits. The 5 a.m. Club is also a great book when it comes to that. Atomic Habits. These are all really great books. Compound Effect. Having habits will help you not only just start your day off, and if you're talking about your morning habits, it'll start your day off on the best foot possible, but it'll also teach you and help you become more disciplined throughout the day. Mm-hmm. Because if you start your day with a win, then the rest of your day, you have the control, right? Do you
yeah, agree? Absolutely. And I also think it's about consistency. So yeah, like it takes 28 days to form a habit. And then once you form a habit, and obviously like, most of the times when we refer to habit, it's usually a negative thing, right? So it's like a habit of like either biting your nails or like, like bad things, right? Or
some people like have a smoking habit or something.
Exactly. So, if you form good habits, they just compound over time, right? So you then, you just, once after 28 days, you form this good habit, then it's like, you feel bad when you don't do it. And that's how you should feel, when you're not doing and you're not staying consistent and you're not, I guess doing what you should be doing. You should feel bad about it. Yeah.
Kenny's an interesting case study. If you don't mind me sharing, you at one point kind of fell out of your habits, and then you just recently got back into them. Can you kind of talk us through maybe how your discipline has changed just from like having those morning habits and daily habits that you were doing and not having them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I started, waking up a little bit later. I started, I guess kind of slacking off. Well, I guess I can make excuses for it, but I started slacking off at the gym. I stopped doing yoga, stopped meditating. But I mean, ever since, waking up early, like when my alarm goes off, I'm excited to get up. Like it's another day to just chase the dream. Like honestly, I'm living a freaking dream out here, guys. Yeah. So then at the gym, like I just try to, push myself and,
but in terms of your discipline, how's it helped?
It's helped a lot. I mean, just trying to stay disciplined. I mean, it becomes easier, honestly. Like anytime, obviously I'm not perfect, so it's not the best and it's not where I want to be, but it just, I guess it makes things that I want to do and I say I'm going to do, it just makes it easier because I know that, once I start my day with a win and then just continue doing things that I should be doing throughout the day, it just makes other things that I need to be doing easier too.
So there's two kind of like different ways to get yourself to do something. There's willpower, and there's something that you just, when you're driving a car, for example, you don't really always have to be consciously thinking I'm driving and how to drive. You're on autopilot at that point. So when you build a habit, it kind of like creates those neural pathways. I'm not sure about the science, but it creates those things that you just kind of do. And so if you show up at the same time every day and you like get your work done, then you become kind of accustomed to that. So your body and your brain just is used to it. It's almost committed. So that at that point, you don't have to rely on your willpower of forcing yourself to do it, because it's already kind of like something that you've already been accustomed to do and you're already expecting yourself to do it. And so it takes less willpower. Like Kenneth was saying, it just helps with your discipline. And if you don't have discipline, it's easier to get distracted. You're more likely to, I would say, you're more likely to get shiny object syndrome. And we've fallen victim to shiny object syndrome when it's just essentially something else that might be promising. Like for us, it was another business option, something in that could have offered money. We just started to chase it, even though we knew real estate was meant for us and that's what we wanted to do. We chased it, didn't go well, and we found our way back to real estate. And now we're full send into real estate, committed to real estate, but we had to go down that pathway. And that was just an example of what the consequences are of not being disciplined, not just in your day-to-day, but also in your business, in your long-term vision for yourself, your life, and your goals.
Yeah, and this kind of ties into our next point, but if you don't create good habits, then you create space for bad habits to come into your life. Because, for example, if you need to wake up at 4 or 5 a.m., and you do that every single day, then there's no way in hell that you're going to be going to sleep at 11, 12, 1 a.m. And if you're staying up that late, going out with friends, you're likely drinking, you're likely partying. Like nothing good happens after like 9 p.m.
Or just watching Netflix.
Exactly. So
like you're just doing something that's not productive, playing video games, something like that, or just doing nothing, absolutely nothing, and not being productive with your time. And of course, you shouldn't be a robot. Like you can do what you want, but this is only to help you get to your goals. Also, if you're not disciplined, you will more likely to lose momentum in the pursuit of your goals.
100%.
And so momentum is just that energy and that think of it as a snowball it's getting bigger as you push it down the hill. And the bigger it gets, the more strength and power it has. And so the more disciplined you are, the more you keep pushing on that, cutting down that tree, it'll eventually fall, but you have to continuously do it. And you also lose your drive. So you just lose motivation if you're not disciplined.
Yeah.
In general, so like Kenneth was touching on, to develop this discipline, you could develop good habits, have accountability partners. Like for me, my brothers are my accountability partners. I also have friends that are also entrepreneurs that I talk to. Those people keep me accountable and I keep them accountable. You can also set mini goals. So like every week, say, I need to get this done. You can set daily goals and have like a to-do list and check it off. A really neat tip that I recently got from a podcast that I was listening to was do less as an entrepreneur. So if you do less and you focus on, like, I have to get these 3 things done this week, and you get them done, you're more likely to be motivated because you got it done, because it's less to do. And it's also, you can do those things really well. And it also helps you narrow down, because a lot of times you'll fill up your calendar and your schedule with just random things that you don't need. If you can focus on the most important things, the top 3 things you need to do, your business will survive, and you can actually make sure those things are getting done and getting done well. So we already talked about bad habits, distractions and bad influences, kind of touched on it. Just people, those distractions and bad influences can absolutely hold you back. Kenneth, how can a bad influence as a person hold you back?
Well, it creaks in, like a bad person, for example, and everyone likes to have fun, right? But for example, if you have a friend that just says, hey man, like, let's go for a drink or let's go out, you might say no because you're disciplined, but once in a while you might creep in, and then that leads to you going out the next weekend, and then you're now going out 2 days every weekend. So it's just, you let that slowly creep into your life, and that's how they get you.
Also, your job is something that could potentially be holding you back from your success. And that is not me saying quit your job or do anything like that. I just want you to be aware. That's actually one of the things on the list that I was thinking. You might just have to learn to make time for your goals. If it's real estate, make time for it, but your job is important because active income is important. You need to survive, and also that active income can help fund your business in the meantime while you're not profitable or making money from your business. So I think it's more so learning to manage your time well, and also learning to prioritize. So if you have a job that's from 9 to 5 or school that takes from 9 to 5, and then you might have to give up social time with friends or certain other hobbies or clubs or things like that. Or even, I don't want to say you give up relationships. That could be an option, but if it's not, I understand that. Just maybe you have to lose some sleep. It's just about balancing. It's depending on how much you're willing to sacrifice. It goes back to that thing. Are you willing to do what it takes to get to your goals? It's about being honest, but your job typically isn't something you should leave. I mean, we left school and we're not encouraging that either, but you can give certain things up, but you don't always have to. It's just about making time for what is important to you and prioritizing. Time management in general is important. We're going to talk about quickly, just some time management tips. Set weekly priorities. That's we already touched on that. You can also time block your schedule. If you plan out your day in advance the night before, that's what I do sometimes. I'll just sit down and say, okay, I need to get all these things done at this time. The next day, you already have your day planned out. It takes that time that you even have to sit down and think about it, and also that energy. So you can just focus on showing up for each task. Also, delegate tasks. Think of something that you might not need to do yourself. Maybe you can give off to a virtual assistant you can find on Fiverr.com, or even just worry about it later and not get it done that day, but if it doesn't need to get done that day. Also take breaks. It sounds counterintuitive, but if you take breaks and you give yourself some time to rest, you can show back up with full energy, and that can help you just understand, like you'll get back into the groove of things. Cut. Okay, 3, 2. Wrap it up. I know. 3, 2, 1, action. Most of all, though, I think it's important to just understand you have to be willing to sacrifice some things. If you want some other things, you have to make time for it. And any final thoughts, Kenneth?
Yes. So first of all, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Second off, just remember you can do literally anything you put your mind to it, and then you put action behind. So just believe in yourself. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Just go out there and do it. And I believe
it's all about action. It's all about action. Let's get out there and take action, guys. Let us know if you have questions or if you have comments. Like and subscribe to our channel. Yep. And share the love. Share it with a friend if you think you got value out of this. And you can find us at Donis Brothers on Instagram and most social media platforms. You can also check out our website, www.donisinvestmentgroup.com/playbook, to check out our free 5 mistakes investors make playbook. You can go download that for free. Yep. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Hit the like button. Comment down below whether it's good feedback, bad feedback, what you guys want to see. But we will see you guys again soon. Thank you so much for spending your time, and have a blessed day.